this new book. Which was your favorite to develop? And which one can we look forward to having the most growth?
My favorite in this book, The Gathering Storm, was Egwene. And you hopefully can look forward to Egwene. Robert Jordan gave me quite a good handoff from her in Knife of Dreams. She was my favorite character in Knife of Dreams. And though Matt was a close second. Matt was pretty awesome in Knife of Dreams. But he also had very good notes regarding Egwene and her plotline, and he'd written quite a bit on it comparatively, and so it really came together wonderfully. So I hope that you will enjoy Egwene's sections. Right.
When we see Nynaeve cleanse the darkness that is with some of the male channelers before they cleanse the taint, and the second question is, how much notes did Mr. Jordan actually leave for you?
Okay.
For this last
Yeah. I can talk on both of those. With Nynaeve, the question was, will we see Nynaeve heal the darkness that is in some of the male channelers before the cleansing happened? Sorry, spoiler for book 9. If you haven't read book 9 by now and you're here buying book 12, then sorry. I promise nothing happened, and also we're just joking with you, and ignore when I talk about Bella killing Matt, because that kick to the head didn't really kill him. He'll be coming back. The answer is Nynaeve has said before and believes that everything can and should be able to be healed, except for maybe death. She certainly believes that it is possible. I'm not going to say whether or not it will happen. The second question, I can give you a much more extensive answer on. Because people are very curious about what the nature of the notes are. Well, Robert Jordan was a very private writer. He did not like to show things to people until he had done many drafts. In fact, even Harriet, his editor and wife, never saw anything until had seen about 12 drafts. And so they really didn't know much of what was in the notes before he passed away. It was after he passed away they began to gather them. And the creative process is very, how shall I say, it makes sense to the person doing it. I know this firsthand, but to anyone else it looks like chaos. And the way that I get the feel that Robert Jordan wrote is he would open up a file and something, if he was curious about something, or he was thinking about something, passionate about something, he'd write on it. And then he'd save that file as a separate file. And sometimes it would just be a sentence. Sometimes it would be a paragraph. Sometimes he'd write a complete scene. And there were dozens and dozens of these, not in any order, just on the hard drive. Just file after file after file, some with a sentence, some with... And so the assistants gathered these all up together and did not put them in any order. They just took them all, a bunch of fragments of scenes and completed scenes, and put them in a stack. Then, on top of that stack, they gave that stack to me, on top of that stack was the dictations he did before he passed away, in which he would talk about things in the world that he felt needed to be known. These were specific things essentially given to me that he did for me or for us. Things I needed to know, things that, scenes that he wanted written in a specific way, that sort of thing. Those are the dictations. And then on top of that, in the last months, his assistants, bless them, the book is actually dedicated to them. That's who that dedication is for. They are awesome. Maria's been with him has been with the Wheel of Time for 13 years, working. So she and Alan spent a lot of time questioning him and interviewing him and asking him, what happens to this person? What happens to this person? How does this happen? Who is this? Who killed Asmodean? All of these things that we all want to know. And they gathered all of those in just a list of answers for me and put that on the top. Handed that all to me and said, we need a book. And so it runs the gambit. In some places there are complete scenes. In some places there are almost complete scenes. Like the one that I read from the beginning. That whole thing, beginning, middle, and end, was done by him, but it read kind of like a screenplay. Meaning there wasn't, as you know, there was a lot of the dialogue and some of the description, but none of the transitions and things like this and whatnot, and that I needed to fill in. And in other places, complete scenes that he wrote before he passed away. In other places, a paragraph that's from the middle of a scene. that it suggests an entire scene. In other places, a sentence that says, and then this happens, which is like 5 chapters. And then some places, holes that we don't know. And that was all given to me, and my job was to take that and put it in order and create an outline and write a book from it. And there is a whole lot of Robert Jordan in there. A lot of gems, Tom Doherty said at one of the signings, so that means I can say it, because if he said it, then I'm not breaking any contracts or anything to give it away. He said that there was about 200 pages worth of the fragments. That doesn't count the other 2 things, of the fragments. So 200 pages worth of, in manuscript format, of what Robert Jordan had planned to be about 2,500. But that doesn't include all of the things that he left as notes. I mean, the notes about the world, there's about, Harriet has said there's equal to as many words that were written in the books, there is that much written about the books. So millions of words worth of writing about the world and the setting. And oftentimes I have to just, like Al and Maria work as my own personal Brown Ajah, and I say, find me this, and they will dig in those notes for weeks to find an answer and come back to me and say, okay, here's everything we could find about this character and what's supposed to happen. And so it's like they're my research assistants on this. And so that all is coming together, plus my instincts as a writer, plus all the stuff that he did. He did write the ending of the last book himself. The last few scenes that he said he had in mind have been written by him. And that's all coming together to produce the books that we are creating. Hopefully with as little of me and as much of him as we can get into them. The person who killed Asmodean was... Next question, right here. You know, we're not 100% sure what's going to happen, because we know that if you go into a warder rage... Oh, I should repeat the question. Rand is bonded to 4 people. If one of them were to die, what would be the effect on him? We know that immediate bonding to someone else helps with the warder rage. Doesn't completely get rid of it. I would say that your instincts are right, that it would help. I don't think it would negate everything. All right, next question. Let's go in the back right there.
Why was the 11th book titled Knife of Dreams?
Why was the 11th book titled Knife of Dreams? All of the Wheel of Time book titles are meant to be metaphorical and to have some sort of literal component. Usually the literal component is part of a poem or something, as I believe it was in Knife of Dreams at the opening, where they talk about what the Knife of Dreams means. And I think it was titled because of that little scrap. Is it a poem in Knife of Dreams? Someone got it handy? It's a Shanshan saying. That's what it is. And so it was titled that because of the metaphor that Shanshan saying meant. He intended that to be the metaphor for the entire book. All right, right back there.
So my question is 2-part actually, and the second part is actually dependent on the first.
Yes.
I had come to understand, and I guess most people don't think this way, but I had from somewhere got the impression that the Aiel weren't in fact a natural occurrence, that they were somehow the result of some kind of, I don't know, some kind of tampering to some degree.
Okay.
The one power or something. Is that completely, am I insane, or does that have some basis in reality?
I have not heard that before.
I don't know where I got that from.
Yeah, I'm certainly not. I haven't heard anything with the one power. There was tampering going on, but we're talking more like Aes Sedai and things like that. With the pillars that were left behind obviously were intended to do something, and the charges that were given to them. But it's not necessarily that they were trying to make anything specific. It's just, yeah.
Okay, so then that kind of changes the second question. But the second question is that are the Aiel in some way linked to the Ogier, in that they both have that capability in making things grow, and they kind of, them and the name, they all work together in the scenes from the Age of Legends.
Well, everybody is connected in the pattern, and certainly the Aiel, going back to some of that, certainly would have threads connected to the Ogier. I can't really say anything too specific about